For the next 90 minutes about some of the biggest. Who they made some news with this week with a huge trade that kind of came out of nowhere. I guess it was last Friday when they sent Jordan Matthews and a third-round pick to the Buffalo Bills for third-year cornerback Ronald Darby, who's been starting out there, had a great rookie campaign, came back down to earth a little bit last year. But we'll talk a little bit about that. But let me introduce some of the guests that we will have on tonight. Our first guest is someone I'm extremely excited to talk about. He's a guy after my own heart. He is a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan. He is an Eagles season ticket holder, just like myself. I think he is a social media extraordinaire, and I'm even willing to go out and call him the voice of the Philadelphia Eagle fan. He's the host of Fourth and John. This would be the mighty E-Rock to all of you. Will join the show tonight. Come on, talk a little Eagles with us, talk maybe some Zeke, as we're going to have to get into that here in a few minutes. So really looking forward to that interview at about 7:50. And then towards the end of the show, another special guest. You know, I've grown to really appreciate and enjoy, and he's become one of the guys I want to hear from when talking about Eagles. He is from the USA Today and CSN Philly analyst reporter Teron Davenport will join the show at about 8:40 to kind of finish up our show here, talking about the Eagles a little bit more in depth, specific positions, stuff like that. But so we have a really good show lined up. In the middle of all that, I will break down the NFC North. I know we've kind of got away from it last week with the Darren Dalton tribute episode. So we will certainly get back to that. I will do the NFC North this week and then probably do both South divisions in both the AFC and NFC next week because we are getting very, very close to the start of the season. You know, the third preseason game will be the dress rehearsal. That'll take place next week. This game, some guys play their starters a whole quarter, others maybe a couple series, and we'll talk about what the Eagles are planning on doing and a couple of the guys who will see the field for their first time as Eagles. But there is a lot of other stuff to talk about going on in sports this week. It was not a quiet week. You had some Tiger Woods news that came out that maybe we'll touch on. But the big news was down in Big D. So without waiting any longer, let's get right into it.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
All right. Obviously, we are into our Outside the Box segment, and at any time of this show, when we do not have a guest on. If you want to call in and join in the conversation, 516-531-9817, or you could tweet me at TSJ Madness. I will read tweets on the air, and we will go from there. So let's get into Big Zeke. All right. Also on Friday, where Eagles fans were looking at the news about Jordan Matthews being moved and kind of trying to, figure out that trade from every side and what the reason behind it was. Out of nowhere, after a 13-month investigation, the NFL finally made a decision on Ezekiel Elliott, and I think it came as a surprise to a lot of us. The NFL handed down a 6-game suspension to Ezekiel Elliott. And there has been a lot of clamor, and there's been a lot of chatter from both sides about the thoughts of this punishment. Now, obviously, Elliott has, and the NFLPA on his behalf have filed an appeal. It's supposed to be heard August 29th. So if it's upheld, Zeke would miss games 1 through 6 of the season. So for those of you who are not entirely informed on the Ezekiel Elliott situation, the guy, while at Ohio State, had a sexual assault case that he was never actually charged for because they said, the prosecutors, for lack of a better term, said, well, there's a lot of information that we're not getting, where it's unclear, it's a little confusing, we don't have enough to charge him on at this time. It wasn't this full-blown, he didn't do anything, there's nothing to see here type of thing. It was more of a, it's just, we don't really know what to believe, so we can't charge him. In the meantime, since that moment took place, mistakes. Okay. Ray Rice did not suspend him until all of a sudden the video was leaked. Kicker from the Giants, Josh Brown, not really suspended. And the stories go on and on. And I think over the last 13 months, the NFL did, listen, okay, there's this idea out there that the NFL just says, oh, well, let's screw this guy over. And that idea comes from 13 months, biggest cockroaches there are in the NFL. And that's what the hell they are. And that is the Dallas Cowboy faithful. You guys would sell your souls to keep your players in the field. And I can't blame you, because you learn from leadership. And your leader in Jerry Jones has been doing this for 20-plus years. What do you think? Everyone just looks at the 1990 Dallas Cowboys as being great teams. They were tremendously talented. But I also look at those teams as being in trouble with the law quite a bit. Michael Irvin, ring a bell? So, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's focus on where the NFL, what they might have been thinking here. I think that Ezekiel Elliott was involved in a situation with a woman that is not good, no matter what. And the NFL wasn't going to take a chance here because they screwed it up too many damn times. They were not going to take a chance here. They were going to come down hard. And they came down as hard as they did, I don't think just because of that, but look at everything that's happened since.